गिरिवरा जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदा यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदा यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदा यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhav, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Radha Madhav, Panchatattva, Jaya 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 Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सुत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस of Acharyananda भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Jai Shri Prabhu. निगमकल्पतरोर्घलितं फलं सुखमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसबालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. We are going to discuss today the fourth text of the sixth chapter of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabuddha-karmā daivena trayoviṁśatiko gaṇaḥ prerito ajanayat svābhir mātrābhir adhipūruṣam. Prabuddha-karmā daivena trayoviṁśatiko gaṇaḥ prerito ajanayat svābhir mātrābhir adhipūruṣam. Prabuddha-karmā daivena trayoviṁśatiko gaṇaḥ prerito ajanayat svābhir mātrābhir adhipūruṣam. Prabuddha-karmā daivena mātrābhir adhipūruṣam. Prabuddha-karmā netre trayoviṁśatiko gaṇaḥ prerito janayat svābhir prerito janayat svābhir Matajis. Prabuddha-karmā daivena prabuddha-karmā daivena trayoviṁśatiko gaṇaḥ prerito janayat svābhir mātrābhir. Prabuddha, awakened, karma, activities, daivena, by the will of the Supreme, trayaḥ-viṁśatikaḥ, by the 23 principal ingredients, gaṇaḥ, the combination, preritaḥ, induced by, ajanayat, manifested, svābhir, by his personal, mātrābhir, plenary expansion, adhipūruṣam, the gigantic universal form, viśva-rūpa. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhayacharnaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki translation. Repeat after me. When the 23 principal elements were set in action by the will of the Supreme, the gigantic universal form or the viśva-rūpa body of the Lord came into existence. Purport. The viśva-rūpa or virāṭ-rūpa or the viśva-rūpa, the gigantic universal form of the Lord, which is very much appreciated by the impersonalists, is not an eternal form of the Lord. It is manifested by the supreme will of the Lord after the ingredients of the material creation. Lord Kṛṣṇa exhibited the virāṭ or the viśva-rūpa to Arjuna just to convince the impersonalists that he is the original personality of Godhead. Kṛṣṇa exhibited the virāṭ-rūpa. It is not that Kṛṣṇa was exhibited by the virāṭ-rūpa. The virāṭ-rūpa is not therefore an eternal form of the Lord exhibited in the spiritual sky. It is a material manifestation of the Lord. The arcā-vigraha or the worshipable deity in the temple is a similar manifestation of the Lord for the neophytes. But in spite of their material touch, such forms of the Lord as the virāṭ and the arcā are all non-different from his eternal form as Lord Kṛṣṇa. Om ajñānatimirandasya jñānāñjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Utare Shrimate Jayapataka Swamiti Name Namacharya Padanitaya Kripnayane Gaurakatadamdana Virāṭ Tajrasmatirismin Dushkaram Sukaram Bhavet Vismite Viparitam Syat Shri Chaitanyam Namamitam Hare Krishna. So I'd like to thank the authorities for giving me the opportunity to speak and purify my speech by glorifying Bhagavatam and allowing me to discuss the purports of Srila Prabhupada. So, we've been hearing, is my voice clear? So, we've been hearing Narasimha Katha all these days. So, it was a wonderful trip for the past 9 days. You know, we've been hearing about Narasimha, the glories of him. Now we are back into the stream of Bhagavatam which we were discussing. So we are in the 3rd canto, 6th chapter, 4th verse. So what has happened till now? Just a recap. We are in the 3rd canto. 3rd canto, among all the things which is considered to be the primary creation. Atra sarga visargascha. So this is sarga. So sarga is considered, 3rd canto has got many elements of primary creation. And in this situation where we are in the 6th chapter, Vidura has started off his pilgrimage and he first met Uddhava and he started asking about Krishna and many other esoteric questions. And Uddhava did not do any Maryada Vyatikrama. He was younger when considered to age of Vidura. And so he kindly directed Vidura to go and speak to Maitreya Muni. So he met Maitreya Muni, Vidura met Maitreya, and Maitreya started explaining many things about Krishna. He started with the creation. And we are just starting with the chapter where Maitreya Muni is speaking. I think there is an echo. I can hear. If it is okay with all of you, it's fine. So Maitreya started describing about the elements. And he first described about how different elements were formed. You know, different 23 ingredients which we are speaking about. There is Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu who has come in and entered, and there is 10 senses, 10 sense objects. Then there is a 5 elements. Then there is a mind. Then there is an intelligence, and then there is a sense objects also. Then there is a daiva which is taking care of all the senses. So he explained all those 23 elements, and then after that he explained that the devatas which were there for the different elements and senses, they prayed to the Lord, saying that independently they can't do anything. Even though they are existing, without the Lord entering, the 23 elements are not potent enough to create anything. So they prayed in the previous chapter, in the 5th chapter of Bhagavatam 3rd canto, they prayed to the Lord. And after that, the Lord is entering into these elements which will combine them and make it into virāṭ-rūpa. This particular verse which we are speaking, the Lord is entering and the virāṭ-rūpa is getting formed. So Prabhupada mentions in this particular purport that virāṭ-rūpa is not permanent. Virāṭ-rūpa is not a permanent form of the Lord. It is mainly to attract the impersonalists and also the neophytes. So when I read this for the first time, it was very perplexing because we are always brought up by saying that Krishna exhibited the virāṭ-rūpa during the Kurukshetra war before the war began. And Arjuna saw the virāṭ-rūpa, and that is the complete whole of the Lord. And then the reality hits us that actually that is not the pure form of the Lord, but it is the form which is the Lord manifesting to attract the impersonalists. In the previous verse which we just read a long time ago, before the Narasimha Katha started, the elements are just forming. And then in that purport also Prabhupada says that the purpose of the Lord and purpose of entire the creation is that the jiva gets the opportunity for purifying oneself and getting liberation. So this is the opportunity of the jiva. What is the creation? Creation is nothing but a big love story which we are not appreciating. What is this? This is a love letter written by the Lord. Anything which we see around is created so that we, the jiva, gets attracted to Krishna. Anything which we see around. But we get attracted to the perverted reflection which is there. The rivers are supposed to remind us that the rivers are the blood running in the veins of the Lord. Ishopanishad says that the Lord doesn't have any veins. All this gets reconciled in the Acharya's works. You know, Acharyas say that the Lord is a person who does not have the veins, but the rivers are the blood running in the veins of the Lord. It might be confusing, but it also can be consolidating that the Lord can be anything. When we were initially speaking of esoteric subjects, there were a lot of debates about how a deity can actually be the Lord. You know, there were people in my friend circle. There were people from with different faiths, and we used to very healthily debate. How can you consider this? They used to call it idol. We call it arcā-vigraha. Devotees should never call it an idol. Never. Idol is different. Arcā-vigrahas are different. Anyway, how can you call this idol to be the Lord? How can the Lord be inside it? We should introduce them to Prahlad Maharaj and see how the Lord was inside a pillar. Forget about the deity. The deity is created in a specific manner. The sthapati identifies a living stone, and then he carves the deity which can actually host the Lord. Okay, and we call the deities, when we do the yajna, we were inviting the Vaishnava Namagni, Vidu Namagni and Radha and Krishna into the fire. We call them, you come here, you stay here, you please be comfortable, you look at me. All those things we say in the mantra and the mudra, and we manifest the Lord in the fire. And the deities are installed also in the similar manner. So the question we should ask the atheists and the people who are non-believers and the impersonalists is that if the Lord is capable of everything, why can't he reside in the deity? You say that the Lord is capable of everything, and that Lord we have to surrender to, then why can't he reside in anything which I want, which he wants? So this purport says that the virāṭ-rūpa is for attracting the attention of the impersonalists. When I started reading Bhagavad Gita, I was thinking that I was the devotee and somebody else is impersonalist. Later on, when I started reading, I understood that I am the impersonalist that Prabhupada is speaking about. Because we tend to try and do the worship, but the impersonalistic mentality is so deep into us that invariably we do actions where it signifies that we are the impersonalists. Yesterday we were doing the Narsimha Abhishek, right? The Lord is there. Okay, the Lord is there with this white cloth. I mean, and Prahlad Maharaj is there, the pure devotee is there, and the Lord is there, is manifested in the deity, the pure ingredients are there, and very nice mooded devotees are offering it. Offering first with the water, then with the milk, the yogurt, honey, ghee, different juices, fragrant juices. Everything is happening, and we are thinking, "Arey, kab khatam hoga? When is it getting over?" Why? Because we are fasting. The Lord, you don't know? We are fasting. Nirjal. And you are bathing in front of me where I am feeling so sultry. This is the impersonalist nature of the mind and also our actions. When we are in front of the deities at our home, there are so many things which Rupa Goswami says in the Nectar of Devotion, saying that you are not supposed to do these things in front of the Lord. Okay, you are not supposed to speak loud, you are not supposed to cry. If you read that, you will cry out loud, how will I do deity worship? So many details are there. When we are doing deity worship at home or here, we behave as though he is not the Lord but just an idol. We offer with whatever mood. We are offering right in front, and before that we are preparing for our senses. Rare are those devotees who prepare for the Lord's pleasure. We are trying to keep Krishna at the center of my sense gratification. I want to eat rasgulla. I will ask my wife to make rasgulla. She will make rasgulla for the Lord. Right? So, this is how impersonalistic we are. The jiva is eternally trying to have sense gratification at the center, and Krishna is eternally trying to attract us back. Eternally. So he is that one-sided lover who doesn't care whether the other person is loving me or not, but his love is pure. Pure to the core. He does everything to attract the jiva. And whatever he gives us as an instrument to get attracted to him, we are professionals in using it for our own senses. Professionals. Because we've been doing it from so many births. We have a lot of experience of using our body for our own sense gratification, using this world for our own sense gratification. So now if you consider the world with both non-devotees and devotees, you see how the world is getting used. All the resources which are made are for the service of the Lord. The non-devotees though don't know it, but the devotees are also not very serious about it. Okay, how many times do we go and actually switch off a fan where nobody is sitting down? Some people will say, this is Krishna's energy, we have to switch it off. So we go and what is this Krishna's energy? So not many of us are serious about saving Krishna's energies. However, the Lord keeps on reminding us that, hey, Jiva, you are born here with this body to get attracted to me. Because this is Kuntha. This is Kuntha, and then there is Vaikuntha. There is a lot of miseries here. Yesterday Maharaj was mentioning that when you are doing devotional service, or before that there is miseries. If you do more devotional service, there is more miseries. Rare are those people who do not complain when there is miseries. Very, very rare. More rare are those people who accept the miseries as a gift given by the Lord. The mood of tattenu kampam susamikshamano. Rare, very, very rare. Even more rare are those devotees who actually work towards the betterment of the other devotees while being in pain. My spiritual master, His Holiness Jayapadak Swami Maharaj, is a living example for me. I'm sure many of us get inspired by the way he conducts himself in the body which is infested with so much of seeming pain. There are very, very rare, Prabhupada for that matter. He took so much of effort in going to America and creating this ISKCON for us. So whatever the Lord has given, we are misusing it. If you see, Ambrish Maharaj is known for that verse, no? What is that? Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor. So Ambrish Maharaj says, Ambrish Maharaj uses what? He uses his mind at the lotus feet of Krishna. We also have a mind. Most of the mind, people's mind outside, it is said that it is like a monkey which is intoxicated and bitten by a scorpion. So first of all, it's a monkey, and it is intoxicated, and it is bitten by a scorpion. How much will it jump from one topic to another? And especially while we are chanting. That is the most potent time for the monkey to do its monkey business. Right? So we keep chanting, and then we first focus, because we are trained to focus. We are focusing on the sound, and then we say, this mantra went on very nicely. Yesterday also my mantra went on very nicely. Yesterday the prasadam which I ate was so nice. But one thing had little salt, and one thing was more spicy. And then our mind is already going to prasadam or something else. The second mantra is not there. We are trying to focus on the third mantra. Then again the mind is saying, yes, I have to give class. Now yesterday the class was so nice, but that day, no, that Prabhu was saying something about it. It was so, you could have told differently. Again the mind has gone into a different topic. So this mind, Ambrish Maharaj was using it only at the lotus feet of Krishna. In the conditioned state, we are using our mind for our sense gratification and our whatever it is, but not at the lotus feet of Krishna all the time. Are we able to remember Krishna all the time? That is what we are aiming at. And somebody was asking, how do we remember Krishna all the time to Prabhupada? He said, so they came and asked, Prabhupada, while I am sleeping, how do I remember Krishna? Prabhupada said, first start practicing remembering Krishna while you are awake. And then we'll speak about how to remember him while sleeping. So we have to go stage by stage and understand how to put our mind in the lotus feet of Krishna, if not in the 18, 16 hours of our wakeful time, at least in the 2 hours of our focused chanting time. Mana Krishna Padaravindayor. Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane. Describing the glories of Vaikunta. We use the words to describe the glories of Vaikunta. What do we use the words for? To describe our own glories. Yesterday you saw, I did Abhishek. You know how I was looking? Forget about nursing Dev. How was I looking? So then we are trying to glorify our own success. Or we use the words to actually identify elements which are wrong in other devotees. As though we are perfected. Finding an error or a fault in the other devotee is a right given by the other person, not a responsibility taken by us. Adhikar should be given. The person should come and ask, Prabhuji, am I chanting properly? You are a senior person. Can you please guide me? Then you have all the right to tell him, you are chanting this wrongly, you are focusing on something else, maybe your attention is going here and there. We take up this responsibility of correcting others like our eternal work. Whether we are about a devotional service or somebody conducting their life somewhere, now this person shouldn't have stood like this. He was actually looking there when the arti was happening. What is your business? When you are looking at him when the arti is happening, you are also not looking at the deity. Right? You are looking at somebody else. So let us first look at our own plate. In Kannada they say that you are actually looking at the flies fallen in other person's plate, but there is a big elephant on your plate. Please see that. Okay? So, Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane. We are misusing our words and we are going in a different direction. We must try and use this because Krishna gave this in full love for us to identify as his servant, identify our relationship with him and use this opportunity to get liberated. Use this opportunity because this opportunity is never again. We are born again in the next life depending on our kamamshas this life. If we are desiring about something else, we might be born as a different animal, different person, and we have to start from A, B, C again. Every day we have to remember that every second we have spent not thinking of Krishna is time wasted to purify us. Then, and we also, if nothing is there for us to worry, we use our words to think about hypothetical situations. I have a relative of mine. He comes and says, what if this person comes and tells me like this? How should I respond? I asked him, did he come and tell you anything like this? He said, no, he has not told me yet, but I expect him to come and tell me like this. You are creating a situation in your own mind. You are having a conversation on both the sides. You are saying, what if that person comes and tells me this? I am going to tell him like this and break his face. You are prepared for a dialogue before that person has actually spoken to you. How many times has it happened? Hand on heart, how many times has it happened? Happens, right? We create a situation in our mind and then we use our words. If he comes like this, I will tell him like this. That is, nothing has happened. Okay, so this imaginary worries which we create for ourselves is sapping our energy. Karau harer mandiram arjishu. We are supposed to use the hands for cleaning the temple. We try to enthusiastically clean the temple only just a day before Gundicha Marjana. We also have probably not some brahmacharis, but at least grihasthas might have a small temple or some altar at home. Okay, and I don't know how many times we try to clean it. We're supposed to do it. Okay, but we have to hand on heart, we have to assess ourselves that are we using the hands only for cleaning the temple, doing the activities of the Lord, or am I using the hands for something else? Typing emails which I don't want. Long emails. They're speaking about one person in somewhere in Honolulu, speaking something bad about one person somewhere in US, and that is getting discussed in Mayapur. What is the forum? What are we discussing on? Who is reading? Nobody knows. But using the hands continuously in the service of the keyboard. And what is it giving? Giving a sense gratification. I typed an email, 4 full pages, bigger than the purports in Madhya Leela. So, using the hands only for the service of the cleaning of the temple, okay, and then Shrutim chakara achyuta sat katodaya. What should we use the hearing for? Only the stories of the Lord, the pastimes of the Lord. But what are we hearing? All Gramya Katha. Gramya Katha we are hearing. Even in the midst of a place like Mayapur, devotees are ready to speak about what did that devotee do to that devotee, what happened to this between these two people, and how were they supposed to do. If I was there, what would I have done? Everything imaginary. Everything imaginary. We don't know the other side of the story. We are just speaking in thin air, and we are also becoming judge. And we gave a judgment also, that this is wrong, I would have done like this. And then start blaming the management is wrong. It's a famous pastime here, right? So, Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drusho. What are we doing to, you see, the eyes are used to see the form of the Lord, Mukunda Linga. But the eyes, in addition to that, we come for darshanarthi, we take darshan, but hand on heart, so many of us have to promise that once we go have the darshan and go back home, do we remember what dress the Lord was wearing? Many a times I don't remember, I have to confess. Have the darshan, we see all the darshan and say, sometimes my wife comes and says, today it was a new dress, did you see? I said, yeah, of course I saw. Can't remember. So, we can't focus and identify and be in the present. Be in the present, we can't. And so, what we are doing most of the times, our eyes are going into, we try to start watching a lecture, and then on the right side of this YouTube, there is a wonderful creation called scrolls. Okay, the main thing you are watching here, and then there is a scroll here, and then the scroll comes, it is actually Prabhupada's scroll. Okay, there is Prabhupada speaking, you scroll. Then there is Amog Leela Prabhu speaking, you scroll. And then there is something else comes, very interesting, you scroll. Something else comes, you scroll. So scrolling, using the time, scrolling on other items becomes more. There are apps to identify what we are using our time for. If you are able to do that, then it's very, very useful. Then it's tadbhrutya gatra sparshanga sangamam. What are we using our sense of touch for? We are supposed to use it to actually embrace the devotees of the Lord. But are we trying to do that? Or are we trying to use a sense of our touch to actually identify our own people and get attached to aham and mama? Brahmacharis are saved of this, but grihasthas are caught in this, right? So the family and attachment of beautiful kids like this, is very natural, very, very natural, but very, very dangerous, right? Very dangerous. Until and unless as devotees we are able to differentiate between attachment and affection, it's going to take us into a different direction. Affection is important, attachment is avoidable. But in a grahastha life, identifying this issue and addressing it with a focused effort and energy is one of the primary challenges of all the grahasthas. We can only pray that the Lords give us the energy to identify what is right and what is wrong. As a famous Christian prayer goes, the Lord, my dear Lord, give me the strength to change the things which I can. Okay? Give me the strength to change the things I can. Give me tolerance to bear the things which I cannot change. And give me the wisdom to know the difference between the two, of what I can change and what I cannot change. If we put our energy into items which we can't change, we are expending our energy for no reason. We could have better used it in our time for our sadhana. Right? If we are not in the position to influence a particular decision, let us say we are speaking about, forget about the temple, we are speaking about GBC and the bigger, whatever bigger authorities are there. And what are we doing? We are doing Harinam Sankirtan and we are doing our japa, we are doing our deity worship here. They have their businesses. We have our business. Unless and until we qualify ourselves to go and sit in that forum and are able to express ourselves, there is no point in expending our energy in discussing in smaller circles on WhatsApp, saying that what should one person do in particular situation. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we should not identify what is going on wrong in ISKCON. ISKCON is actually a very, very new institution. We are just a few years old, a small toddler when it compared to other sampradayas and other institutions. However, there will always be problems, but however, what we have to do is that we have to identify a problem and go and approach those devotees who can actually influence rather than expending our own energy in trying to find a hypothetical solution which will never get implemented. Even if you have the best of the solution for a particular problem in Mayapur, unless and until you go and speak to that particular authority who gets convinced, there's no point. So, Ghranam tat pada saroja shaurabhe. We are supposed to only smell that tulasi which is offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. Amrish Maharaj lived like this. And our nose in Mayapur at least gets used for smelling pizza, pasta and other things. Might get distracted. Okay, so this is there. So when we read verses like this about how pure devotees conducted their life, we must identify the difference and the distance between us and the pure devotees' situation and appreciate their one-pointed focus and analyze our lack of it and work towards bridging that gap. Work towards bridging that gap. Only analysis will not help. They say no analysis, paralysis by analysis. We keep on analyzing. No action doesn't help. As they say, there is guidance, there is advice, but if you don't act, there is no use of it. If we analyze what is wrong with us, but we don't act in bridging the gap between us and the pure devotee, what is the point in analyzing? What is the point in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam if you are not able to use the elements of Srimad Bhagavatam and the learnings from it in our day-to-day life? Krishna has given so many things, we are wasting it. This was our understanding. He gave us so many things. He gave us Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtam. He created the Chaturvarna and we created the caste system and ruined it properly. The proper division of labor was done. You have an inclination to do Brahmanical activities, you do. You have an inclination to Kshatriya activities, you do that. If you have the inclination to do Vaishya activities, you do that. Shudra activities, you do that. And together you cooperate and exist in the society. This is what Krishna's plan was. And we took that plan and royally messed it up. Royally messed it up. And then now people are complaining, saying that the caste system is wrong. Of course, the way in which the caste system is followed is wrong. Right? So, Krishna gives us the senses, we misuse. Krishna gives us the facilities of this entire world, we misuse. Krishna gives us the caste system, the system of this guna karma based caste system, and that we misuse. We are habituated to misusing things. Habituated. We have a smartphone. We can use it nicely in the service of the Lord by watching YouTube great lectures or darshan of the Lord, or use it for preparing something else, promoting yourself in devotion. No, we will use YouTube for something else. We will use it for browsing things which we don't want to browse, not supposed to browse. And similarly, Prabhupada has toiled his entire life to give us ISKCON. What are we doing with ISKCON? ISKCON is such a nice boat. Everything nicely prepared. Morning program keeps us so busy. The entire sattva guna, we are making use of it. Waking up in the morning, coming to see the Lord's darshan in the early morning. Then the entire chanting together with the devotees. Then before that, the Tulsi Puja. Then you have a beautiful darshan of the Lord. That is attractive. Then you take the blessings from Narasimha. And then you go to Prabhupada. And you pray to Prabhupada. You do Guru Puja. Then you hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Entire from 3:30 to 9 o'clock you're engaged. That energy, if you're not able to use it for the entire day to keep yourself in Krishna consciousness, then what else will? Unless and until we take this morning program seriously, there is almost very little chance of us improving in our Krishna consciousness. Regardless of what situation we are in, we might be brahmacharis, grihasthas, vanaprasthis or sannyasis. Morning program is utmost essential. Morning program is utmost essential because this is the time where the energy which is there in the guna, which is a sattva guna, and our mind is accepting to be in the sattva guna, and we are able to use that time in activities recommended by the acharyas. All three falls in place. But if you are not doing that, then it is going to be a difficult uphill task. If we are not depending on the system created by Srila Prabhupada, and we try to devise something out of our own, very difficult. It is misusing the opportunity which we have got. As Prabhupada says, or I don't know who said that, unfortunate are those people who do not get Krishna conscious. Unfortunate are those people who do not get Krishna conscious. More unfortunate are those people who get the opportunity to become Krishna conscious and do not use it. One life. The outside world says one life. No, live life king size. Everything big. 75-inch TV. A Rolls Royce car. Right? And the biggest of the ACs, and biggest of the phones, smartest of the phones, used by the dumbest of the people. Live life king size is that. Whatever your money can buy that and enjoy. Basmin bhutasya dehasya puraragaman kutaha tasmat sarva prayatnam krutva runam kruta grutam piba. Charvak says. If you say it in Sanskrit, it sounds very authentic. What is he saying? He's saying that do whatever, take loan also, eat ghee. This is pure sense gratification offered in our own Sanskrit language. Not supposed to do that. So, unless and until we believe that simple living, high thinking, which is recommended by Prabhupada, is the best method, this life is going to be almost wasted. There are so many other things which has happened, which is significant in today's day. Even if I just read the names, it will finish the entire time. So this is today we have Krishna Phula Dola and Shalil Vihar starting. So in Vrindavan they are going to fill up the central pond with a lot of water, put a lot of flowers and take the Lord on a boat ride, the arcā-vigraha. And here we are going to start the Salil Vihar. We are going to have a fountain for the next 1 month and we are going to offer flowers in the name of Radharani. So many things are going to happen, very exciting. See, look at the compassion of Srila Prabhupada and the Lord. they are not allowing even single day for us to get wasted. Yesterday we finished Narsimha Chaturdashi. Today already we have Salil Vihar. So for our minds to get engaged, there are varieties given by the Lord, because all of us want variety. Daily, if somebody has got rice, dal, sabji, rice, dal, sabji, rice, dal, sabji, fourth day he says, where is the pickle? Right? So the mind wants variety. So the Lord knows it. So he comes in various forms and shapes and sizes. Today he appeared as Radha Raman, one of the most important, beautiful looking deities. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went and stayed in Gopal Bhatta Goswami's house in Srirangam while he was very young, 4 or 5 years old, blessed him, sent him to Vrindavan. Then Gopal Bhatta Goswami had the divine vision, went to Gandaki. Then when he was having a bath, he dipped his kamandalu or whatever vessel he had, and he got 12 shilas. He dropped it back. And then again he dipped it and got 12 shilas again. Then he thought, okay, this must be some divine arrangement. He kept the shilas, kept it around his neck, walking around like that. And then he went to Vrindavan and started worshipping the shilas. Then one king comes and gives him what? Of all the things, he gives him nice dresses for the Lord to be put. And then that becomes the uddipan, or the instigating element for Gopal Bhatta Goswami to think, oh, I don't have any deities. And that one desire from a pure devotee, one of his Damodar Shilas becomes and manifests into Radha Raman this particular day many years ago. And even now, one of the original deities which is available in Vrindavan for us to take darshan and get ourselves purified is Sri Radha Ramanji, very nicely worshipped by the family members of Gopal Bhatta Goswami and others who are authorized. So today is Radha Raman's appearance also, the next day of Narsimha Chaturdashi, the Purnima. Today is also Parameshwar Das Thakur's appearance. Okay, I'll read one sentence which will purify all of us. Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami has written, Parameshwar Das, said to be the fifth Gopala of Krishna Leela, completely surrendered to the lotus feet of Nityananda. Anyone who remembers his name on this day, Parameshwar Dasa, will get love of Krishna very easily. Haribo. Just remembering one name, Parameshwar Dasa, I didn't even know. But just remembering his name gives possibility of getting Krishna's prema very easily. We don't want to take anything easily, no? We want to complicate it very nicely and then strive for it and then try. Easily given. You say chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the easiest. Please take. No. I will learn all the mantras and then I'll go through all the Vedas and then come to the conclusion that Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the best. We don't want simple solutions. We want complicated solutions. Okay? Today is also the appearance of Madhavendra Puri. There is an entire separate class. Right? Madhavendra Puri is a separate class. But anyway, just to remember the great Acharya, he is the first one to have started with this Vipralamba Bhav in our Sampradaya. This is where we branch out from Madhva Sampradaya, Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri also initiated Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu, then there is Paramananda Puri, there is Sriranga Puri, Pundrik Vidyanidhi. Okay, all these people, Madhavendra Puri, whom did you say? Ishwara Puri, yeah, of course, Ishwara Puri. Of course, Ishwara Puri initiated Mahaprabhu. That was given. So Madhavendra Puri initiated all these people, and the best of the contributions of Madhavendra Puri is our Kheer Chora Gopinath and identifying Gopal. Okay, he was there in Govardhan and he was in separation from the Lord, looking at Govardhan, and this small boy comes and gives him a pot of milk and he says, "My dear Baba, you are hungry from the morning, please drink this milk." And he drinks this milk and he gets attracted to that boy so much, tries to identify who he is, and then eventually he is led to the identifying of the Gopal deity. And then the Gopal deity comes in his dream and says, "Oh, I am in so much of heat, get me Malaya Chandan." If some deity came in our dream and said, "Please give me Malaya Chandan," where there was no train, no IRCTC, no flight, I said, "Chalo bhai, so jao phir se." Sleep again. Nothing. This is just a nightmare. We are just imagining things. Like that we would have thought and said, nothing doing. Or we would have said, instead of Chandan, no, I'll put on AC for you. Easy. So getting Malay Chandan, where he was in Vrindavan, he had to walk all the way to Puri and beyond, and that get Malay Chandan. On his way, he sees Gopinath, and then he looks at the kheer offered to Gopinath, and then he thinks, oh, what if, how nice it would be if I get the recipe, I can prepare the same kheer for Gopal. If we think, this kheer is so nice, I should to have it first, before Gopinath has it, I want to have. So, after that, of course, Kheer Chora Gopinath, who becomes famous because of stealing the kheer for Madhavendra Puri. This is the glories of Madhavendra Puri, and today is also Srivas Acharya's appearance. How much should we say about Srivas Acharya? Jiva Goswami is one of the primary writers of our Sampradaya, of course Rupa Goswami. Jiva Goswami trained Srinivas Acharya along with Narottam Das Thakur and Shyamanand Pandit. But the greatness of Srinivas Acharya is what? He is the first book distributor, or one of the first 3 book distributors. And the biggest greatness is what? The entire treasure was lost. You remember? The entire treasure of all the books, so nicely toiled by all of them, including Jiva Goswami, the entire bunch was lost by the courtesy of Birambir Mahaprabhu. You remember Birambir Prabhu? The king who was a thief in the night and the king in the morning. So he had stolen. Srinivas Acharya was the one who influenced Birambir and converted into a Vaishnava, and then when he told him his problems, Birambir arranged for the entire books to come back. So, who gave us all the books? Srinivas Acharya. Jiva Goswami wrote, true, it was written by other Narottam Das Thakur, copied by everybody, but who retrieved it? Like how Vrindavan was there, the Shad Goswamis went and re-excavated it, or else we can't see. So Shad Goswami's contribution is re-excavating Vrindavan. Srinivas Acharya's contribution is recovering the books which were lost, or else how could we find it? So today is the appearance of Srinivas Acharya, who one of the contributions is converting Birambir into Vaishnava, and also he introduced something called a Manohar Shai style of Kirtan, which most of the ISKCON people also use today. There's a different type of Kirtan apparently. I am not very much aware of it. So, this brings us to 9 o'clock on my watch. This is say 7:40. So, anyway, we'll stop here. Any comments or anything which you want to discuss further? Yes, Prabhuji.
My question was basically, you mentioned the point about, being in the temple, and when you are looking at the deities and your own senses are troubling you, right? Because let's say you are going through, you're doing Nirjala Ekadashi and stuff. When I use my own mind, I can think of 2 ways to address that situation, right? One of the ways is you first make your own senses contented. I'm not saying you satisfy them, but contented so that they're not troubling you, and then engage in the process. So one of the ways could be that instead of following that standard at that high level, you follow it at level where you can accept it, right? Your senses can accept it, and then from that level you practice devotional service. That's one way. The other way is you pick a very high standard and you are suffering, you are causing all the people around you also to suffer, and you are not, even when you are in devotional service, your mind is not there because your senses are troubling you so much, right? So, now I also understand that different people in different modes could practice it in different ways. Meaning a person who, I don't know which mode is which, but maybe in the mode of goodness, he'll accept wherever he is, and maybe you have to correct me which mode is what. And a person who's in mode of passion, he might pick a very high standard, and he'll get passionate about it, and he might be able to do it for 1 or 2 days, and then he'll leave out, something like that, right? So, what do our acharyas say about how to practice this? Meaning, are we supposed to, so we don't really follow at the highest standard, but you follow at a standard where you can follow, while be aspiring for the higher standard, you say, okay, I can't follow it at that. I'm going to follow it at this level because this is what I can practice, and then be contented and continue practicing devotional service, and slowly you can make progress. Or you try the highest level, and you continuously keep falling down again and again and again, and somehow or other you receive some mercy and are able. I'm not sure about what happens in the second case. So I wanted you to throw some light on these two perspectives. How should one practice devotional service?
How should one practice? There is no general rule, I think. But the recommended rule, according to what I have heard, is that you have to always aim for the moon. You reach a treetop, right? And then again aim for the moon, you will reach a hilltop. And again aim for the moon, and then you reach the moon. If you are always reaching the treetop, aiming for the treetop, which is basically a smaller standard, the problem that could happen because of that is you might get comfortable with that standard. Once you get comfortable with that standard, it is very, very difficult for you to move to the higher standard again. But if you are always striving and falling, it is very easy because you are striving. Bhagavad Gita says, Apuryamana machala pratishtam samudramapa pravishyanti yadvat. So that rivers are flowing into the ocean, like that the desires are flowing into the heart. Sa shanti mapnoti na kama kami, the last line says. So one who tries to keep on satisfying all the desires will not be successful, but one who is shanta, he identifies that there is such a desire, he identifies that my level is this, he identifies that I am not able to do the highest, but at least strive for it, keep on striving for it. The method which you mentioned is also very, very good, provided that you have a check and balance. Check and balance is that I will try to, for example, if it is chanting 16 rounds, if somebody is not able to chant 16 rounds, start with 2, but you must have a timeline in which says I will chant 2 for 2 weeks. Then, or every Ekadashi I will increase 2, regardless of whether I like or not. Like that, if you have a plan, it works. If you don't have a plan, I know many people who have been chanting 2 rounds for 14 years. No, nothing to laugh about. That is what they have. But it's just that they're not trying. Why? Because they're comfortable with their life. Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shri Yetamana Madapuma Nai Bharati Abhidatum Vai Tvama Kinchana Gocharam. We have heard this. What does it mean? Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shri, which are all given by Krishna for us. If you're put in a good family, if you're given good education, if you're given good beauty, it means to say, hey, these are all tick off. I need not work on these things, then I can focus on Krishna. But what happens? We become Madapuman. We become intoxicated by our janma, intoxicated with our education, intoxicated with our wealth. That is a problem. So identify where you are and identify what is your problem. For that you have to be in constant consultation with a person who is a guiding Shiksha Guru for you, or use Acharyas and Guru and Shastra for triangulating, and constantly be in touch with how to improve yourself. If that is there, then it's possible.
The process itself it's a meditation. So when I was in the beginning of Krishna consciousness, that samsara dava I was trying to learn. It took me, maybe a year, but at least I was meditating. There may be process, you go this way and that way, these are details. But that process, that whole 4-5 years of, to hack out which one works for me, that itself is a meditation and purification. So the details can vary for different people, for different modes. But it's amazing, we lose it afterwards, after we get it. Abhi samsara dava is like, samsara dava. Earlier we are like, focus. That rasa comes in the process itself. So that is just an addition.
Thank you, Anish. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.